157 fugitives. Tonight's capture is Byron Johnson. Police say 2 years ago he killed a man over $40. But just hours after our broadcast, you tracked him down. And tonight, he's behind bars. Then,
she probably lived for a while trying to swim with a 28-pound block tied around your stomach.
A young woman found murdered in a river. For 7 years, authorities have tried to solve the mystery.
In order to find her killers, we first have to know who she is.
A team of special detectives has married art and science to give her a face. Tonight, you can give her a name. Solve the mystery of Daisy Jane Doe on America's Most Wanted.
Good evening from Washington. I'm John Walsh. Tonight, America's Most Wanted needs your help to solve the mystery of Daisy Jane Doe, and it may lead to the capture of a serial killer. A team of forensic artists and scientists have been working together to uncover her identity. The mystery began in the backwoods of Oklahoma.
Northeast Oklahoma is probably one of the prettiest places in the state. It's called Green Country, and as you can look around, you can tell why. I've lived here all my life. It's a nice place for fishing and hunting and all types of water sports and recreation. My wife and I were coming down to find a place to fish, and I was just looking along the side of the bank trying to find a place to put a line in, and seeing some debris there and logs and floats and what have you. I thought it was a big fish that had washed up on the bank. And of course that was rather exciting until I realized that it was a body.
Well, it was at afternoon hours of May the 7th, 1988. A fisherman reported to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Department that they had found a body floating in the Grand River just south of Fort Gibson Dam. The officers responded, and with the help of the Oklahoma Lake Patrol, was able to retrieve the body.
We saw the body. It was floating face down between a pile of brush and the bank. As we neared the body, we could tell that she had been anchored down with a concrete block tied with a telephone cable.
It appeared that she was clasping that block around her stomach. Very horrible. And you can just imagine, she probably lived for a while trying to swim with a 28-pound block tied around your stomach, but nobody could swim very long. The body was that of a young white female. She was wearing a pullover type shirt, 3/4 length sleeves, and an inscription across the front of the shirt which stated, "Love is like a butterfly. It goes wherever it pleases and pleases wherever it goes." On her right hand, she was wearing a single ring, a silver with 3 sets in it, and on her left hand, she was wearing 2 rings. The medical examiner's office reported to us that on her left shoulder was a tattoo of a daisy, a yellow flower with 4 green leaves. And from that day on, we referred to her as Daisy Jane Doe. A composite drawing was made by the OSBI artist, Harvey Pratt. At the time, we did receive a lot of leads. The officers was all busy for months running these leads down, but none of them ever materialized. After a certain period of time, she was laid to rest in the Tahlequah Cemetery here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. The other investigators, myself, we still continue hoping that we will be able to identify her, because in order to find her killers, we first have to know who she is.
Nearly 7 years have passed since Oklahoma authorities discovered Daisy Jane Doe.
Well, it's very frustrating. We will get a lead. We will work on this lead, keep our fingers crossed. Then when it fizzles out, that's when the frustration really starts over again. But we keep waiting and hoping.
With all their leads exhausted, investigator Jack Goss asked America's Most Wanted for our help.
America's Most Wanted, I feel we'll never know who she is without their help.
We knew it was a tough case with very little to go on. The tattoo, the sweatshirt, and the 3 rings were the only hard evidence to work with. In order to solve this murder, We needed a better image of what Daisy Jane Doe really looked like, who she really was. Last April, authorities working with America's Most Wanted exhumed the body of Daisy Jane Doe, transported her to the medical examiner's office in Oklahoma City. We asked Dr. Clyde Snow, forensic anthropologist for the state of Oklahoma, to examine the remains to see if there were any additional clues that might tell us something about Daisy Jane Doe.
One feature that interested me, the teeth are in very good condition. Also, she was apparently a non-smoker. The teeth are not ringed with the heavy tar deposits that we see in smokers. The femur thigh bone measures 454 millimeters, and the tibia, or shin bone, is 345 millimeters. So with these two measurements, we can estimate her height to be about 5 foot 5 inches. One clue to age are these thread-like lines that course across the surface of the skull. In her case, they're still open, although there's perhaps some early closure back in this area, which suggests that she is in her 20s or 30s.
Armed with this scientific information, America's Most Wanted asked two forensic artists, sculptor Betty Gatliff and sketch artist Karen Taylor, to create a facial reconstruction using Daisy Jane's skull as the base for their work.
The skull photographs are printed 1-to-1 or life size, and I do tracings over the photographs of the skull. The first stage is to take the information obtained from Dr. Snow and go to the appropriate tissue depth chart. So I have used the information for white females and glued rubber eraser material at these different points around the face.
These measurements were made on cadaver material that takes into consideration the size of the muscle, the fatty tissue, and the skin thickness all in one measurement. I taper the clay from one depth to the next, and this gives me the shape of the face.
To determine the outline of her face, I will literally just connect the dots of these tissue depth markers, following the contours around her cheekbone, around her jaw line, down to her chin.
I can't visualize a face when I see a skull. I have to put it together step by step.
I will measure 5 millimeters on each side of this nasal opening and make a mark, and that should tell me the approximate width of her nose. We've determined that the lips can be pretty much approximated by having the mouth the width of the front 6 teeth.
The first feature I add is the mouth. Then I move on to the eye, building the eyelids, then to the nose, and then the ears are the last feature.
I can see a small opening here in the skull that helps me determine the placement of the ear in the profile drawing. I place the ear directly over that opening.
Every skull is its own little puzzle that you have to put together step by step, and it becomes its own little challenge. They never get routine.
It's so important that we, in law enforcement, give it every effort to identify bodies for multiple reasons. In the case of Daisy Jane Doe, we know that she was murdered, and it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, for the police officers to investigate her homicide without knowing her identity first.
But with the completion of Karen Taylor's sketches and Betty Gatliff's sculpture, we were now getting closer. The next step was to take the two forensic images and combine them into one. So we asked artists from two computer graphic facilities, Viewpoint Data Labs and Video Central, to join forces and create a 3D lifelike model by joining the two forensic artworks together.
In this package, we'll, of course, go in and sharpen up edges. We'll go and create eyelids and that type of thing that may get lost in digitized data. We can create a higher resolution of the model, which will actually look, after it's got its textures and its coloring, it will actually look like the head that was provided to us to duplicate.
And now, from the marriage of art and science, from a mixture of hope and fear, there comes a face. The face of Daisy Jane Doe.
She was somebody's little girl from somewhere, And I'm sure that sometime in the past somebody's thought about where she's at and would like to see her again, and they just don't know where she is.
We always felt that if we could identify her, we could possibly find her killer or killers. That's a killer out there someplace. This may not be his only victim. He may still be active. Yes, we want to find out who he is. Somebody's missing Daisy Doe. It could be children, it could be mother, father, sister, or brother. But somebody's missing her.
We're hoping tonight that one of you is that somebody, so we can solve this mystery. For almost every missing person, there's someone who desperately needs to know what happened to their loved one. So please remember, Daisy Jane Doe was wearing these 3 rings and had this tattoo of a daisy on her left shoulder. She was also wearing a sweatshirt like this one. Now, every face has 1,000 looks. We hope these renderings capture a part of Daisy Jane's essence. Forensic artists who created them are among the best in the country. Their work has often been incredibly accurate. If you have any information at all that can help give Daisy Jane back her real name, please call our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV, and you can remain anonymous. In the past year, 3 other murder victims were exhumed so that their faces could be reconstructed. Investigators believe their deaths and the murder of Daisy Jane Doe may be the work of a serial killer. All had similar appearances. That may hold a clue to who killed them. On June 24, 1987, 1.5 miles off Interstate 35 near Paoli, the skeletal remains of a white female were found by 2 fishermen. Paoli Jane Doe was in her late 20s or early 30s, was approximately 5 foot 3 inches tall. On January 5, 1990, another body floated by surveyors in a creek outside of El Reno, between Interstate 40 and Highway 66. El Reno Jane Doe was either a white female or an American Indian, in her late 20s to 30s, and stood about 5 foot 5 inches tall. And on October 23, 1994, Dora Jane Doe was found 2 miles south of I-40 on Highway 64D. Dora Doe was between the ages of 30 and 50 and stood about 5 foot 6 inches tall. She could be white, Asian, or Native American. Remember, all 3 of these victims were brutally murdered. So if you even remotely suspect that you know one of these ladies, please call our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV. That's 1-800-274-6388. We really need your help to solve this mystery. There's a lot more to come. Stay with us.
Robbing a bank was easy for him. Getting away from this cop was gonna be tough.
Get the car now!
William Shorty Dotson was born in the backwoods of North Carolina. He liked fast cars, big guns, and easy money. U.S. Marshals say that at the age of 27, Dotson came up with a foolproof plan to rob a bank. It began in Blairsville, Georgia, on the night of June 5th, 1975. Dotson's robbery scheme began with a night of terror for an innocent bank teller.
Please, sister, I can't open the phone. I only know half of the combination.
Who's got the other half? Tell me. Leave her alone. Shut up if you want to live. Mary. We gotta talk, Mary.
The president of the bank, but he doesn't get in till 8.
We'll just wait for him, Mary. Hey, Mary. Me and your husband going for a little ride. I know you can't see him. My friends will take real good care of your husband as long as you do exactly what I tell you to do. Of course, if any little thing should go wrong, he has my permission to blow your husband's head off.
So what you say?
Good girl. Good girl.
Dodson's crazy. He'll do anything. He'd kill somebody if the drop of a hat. I had a business that was failing, myself and my partner. So when they came to us and told us that there was a way that we could make some good, quick money and all we'd have to do was drive, you know, it didn't seem that it was all that bad a deal. We didn't know it was going to be a bank robbery.
Get in there! Come on, Eddie. Don't you look at me. Get in there! Come on. Keep still if you want to live.
Dotson was determined to get the money. His bank employees arrived for the day, they were bound, gagged, and blindfolded. Dotson needed the bank president and the other half of the vault's combination.
Hey, Word, I'll blow your head off! Go to the vault now! Get her! Get her now! Don't forget about your husband, Mary. That's it, come on. Get up. She's calling me. The cops ain't coming. I'll kill you if you don't open this vault. Thank you.
Shorty Dodson told my partner and I that there was only $40,000 in the bank robbery. We found out that there was $130,000, and we went back and approached them about the money. They said if we said anything else, that they would kill us. So we just dropped it.
Shorty Dodson received a 30-year prison term for his bank robbery here in Georgia. He did 10 years of that in Talladega, Alabama. He received parole after that 10 years and then subsequently vanished.
But on December 31st, 1989, police say Dotson reappeared at the Smoky View Market in Maryville, Tennessee.
After the bolo was given, 5 or 6 minutes before I fell in behind the suspect vehicle. They took off and I took off after them.
Get ready. Come on, punch it up, let's go!
333, I'm in pursuit of a Camaro with Georgia registration. See me some backup.
Got ahead of me. I was going to get them. That was my main goal, was to get them.
20-mile chase. A wrong turn led Dotson to the end of the road. Sheriff's deputies brought in bloodhounds and searched the area all night. Shorty Dotson and the money disappeared. Dotson was charged with the attempted murder of a police officer and robbery. William Dwight Dotson stands 5'8" and weighs 148 pounds. Both of Dotson's arms have tattoos. K, surrounded by ribbons on his left bicep, and Warrior written on his right one. There's another tattoo on his back. Scene of a warrior, women and mountains. You know where William Shorty Dotson is hiding. Call our hotline now at 1-800-CRIME-TV. Coming up next, police department explodes when it discovers a bomber in its midst.
He was always the first one at the scene.
This cop had an inside track on where a mystery bomber would hit next, because he was the one lighting the fuse.
A fixture in every high school yearbook is the section about the senior class. Remember, most likely to succeed or the most athletic? Well, at 17, your future's as great as your dreams, and the sky's the limit. The next story features 4 former classmates. One was a dreamer. His secret aspiration turned him into one of America's most wanted. The small town of Woodbury in upstate New York. Generations of Woodbury students earned their diplomas at this high school. Many would meet again at class reunions, but 4 of them would meet in a way they never expected. From their yearbook descriptions, they seemed like typical kids. Ted Jones, the outdoorsman. He liked to hunt and fish. Donald Nagy, the sprinter, ran the 300-yard dash. Frank Phillips, the football letterman, played center for the Woodbury Crusaders. Joseph Harper was a bit of a rebel. The senior quote, dislikes authority. They would all meet years later over the strangest case the town of Woodbury would ever know, the case of the mystery bomber. 3 would help put the bomber away. 1 was the bomber himself. It was 5 minutes after 10 on August 2nd, 1978. 3 sticks of stolen dynamite rocked the sleepy town. Rebel of Woodbury's class of '66, Joe Harper, had turned police officer. He was the first on the scene.
You had a hell of a time finding it.
I just happened to be cruising by. I thought I saw the flash. Then I got the call. I came right over.
Ted Jones, the outdoorsman in high school, began hunting for the culprit. He had become the Woodbury chief of police.
There was definitely concern, probably fear with people, as to who was causing these explosions. They were done with dynamite, different areas, and they were done within a short period of time.
August 9th, town garage in Woodbury, New York.
Go back! Get out of here! Get out of here!
He was always the first one at the scene. He was able to find things that nobody else could find. Nobody else knew where the dynamite was taken from.
The Orange and Rockland Power Plant in Harriman, New York. On August 11th, the mystery bomber struck again. Now the Woodbury police had a suspect. And that suspect was Joe Harper. When investigators arrived, they found exactly what they expected. Harper was already there.
How'd you find it? What, do you got x-ray vision? Superman, I guess. Don't jerk my chain.
His motivation, his drive was probably where he wanted to get involved in the investigations themselves. And that's probably where the suspicion arose.
Investigators questioned Harper and wore him down.
Talk to me. Well, let's end it right now. We know you're lying, Joe.
The mystery bomber was finally unmasked. On November 20th, 1979, a high school outsider turned police officer pled guilty to setting off the bombs. But faced with up to 25 years in prison, Harper pled before sentencing. Harper was on the run for more than a decade when we picked up his trail in 1990. We received a tip that he'd been sighted at a flea market in Margate, Florida. 3 years later, tips placed him in Louisiana. Harper had adopted the alias Donald Nagy. Sprinter from high school was stunned to find out that Harper was on the run now and was using his name.
And I'd like to see Joe, or have somebody just ask him, why me?
But before they could ask, Harper had fled to Oxnard, California. It was here investigators say Harper lived at several addresses before finally renting this home just blocks from the ocean. When Oxnard police checked the license plates on Harper's Cadillac, they found them registered to Donald Nagy, the alias Harper had borrowed from his schoolmate. The FBI knew they had their man. On October 22, 1993, authorities made their move. 5:30 p.m., Harper left his home to walk his dog. Police and FBI were waiting at the other end of the street.
At gunpoint, we ordered him to lie down on the ground, and the whole time he appeared to have a surprised look on his face, or stunned look.
The arresting officer, Robert Viscara, says Harper admitted his real name. The 13-year hunt was over. Viscara says Harper had a message for him.
He kept warning me not to allow the pressure of the job to get to me and to be careful because that's what happened to him. I knew he knew that I was a police officer doing my job. He was once a police officer. He knew that we had a job to do.
Back in Woodbury, Joe Harper had not been forgotten. He was finally made to face the authority he so disliked. It was Harper's former schoolmate, Frank Phillips, the football letterman, who would close the case once and for all. Phillips was now a star in law enforcement, having become the Orange County DA. And on June 29, 1994, Phillips met Harper in the Orange County Courthouse for sentencing.
Today's not a pleasant day for me, Your Honor. I've known Joe Harper. I knew his family growing up in Monroe for many years. But I am here as the prosecutor today, and he is here as the defendant. His crimes are particularly egregious because they were committed while on duty as a sworn police officer for the town of Woodbury.
Before the judge pronounced sentence, he gave Harper the opportunity to address the court.
The only thing I'd like to say is what I did 16 years ago was wrong. I'm very sorry for it. I spent those 14 years out there in my own way trying to make up for something. Appreciate any leniency the court has shown.
Mr. Harper, you saw fit not to appear before Judge Ingrassia for sentencing. Had you faced up and been sentenced at the time you were supposed to have been sentenced, there is no doubt that you would be a free man at this time.
The judge gave Harper the maximum sentence the law allows. Harper could spend up to 29 years in jail. He won't be eligible for parole until the year 2000.
This constitutes the judgment and the sentence of the court. Love, Mr. Harper, would you read his record?
So for the rebel-turned-bomber, the sprinter, whose name he stole while on the run, the outdoorsman who hunted him down, finally the football letterman who prosecuted him, the case of the mystery bomber had come to an end.
The message of this case is that law enforcement will not stop looking for fugitives, that if they are out there, we are going to do everything possible to find them.
When we come back, a story about a young girl who couldn't escape one man's obsession.
She was back where she belonged, but not for long. Being kidnapped by one of America's most wanted.
In 1990, the parents of 15-year-old Jasmine Leon had a big problem. A dangerous man was obsessed with their daughter. In fact, the Leons say Hector Cardenas kidnapped Jasmine from their home in Culiacan, Mexico. The family confronted Cardenas, got Jasmine back. Fearful Cardenas would try it again. They sent Jasmine to live with her aunt and a cousin, small town in the California desert. She was 2,000 miles away from home and from Hector Cardenas. But Cardenas was relentless in his pursuit of Jasmine. He tracked her to the small town of Buttonwillow, California. She was in hiding with her uncle's family. In a stolen car with his cousin Arturo Gonzalez and a couple of hired thugs, he sped across the desert to Buttonwillow. Life had settled into a routine for Jasmine, attending the local high school with her cousin Sylvia.
Lisa Marquez. She's having a party on Friday. Mom said we could stay out till midnight. Awful. Awful. No, the word's awesome. Aw. Chill, you're getting it. Oh, and not that you care or anything, but Ken Baldwin's gonna be there. Awesome.
Memories of her kidnapping still haunted Jasmine.
You okay?
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you, Adelina.
What's that you're writing there?
A letter to send home. I very much miss them.
They miss you too.
Well,
I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Good night.
October 7th, 1991, Buttonwillow. Deputies say Cardenas put his elaborate kidnapping plan into action. They believe he'd already scouted the neighborhood, watched Jasmine's every move, waiting for the right moment.
We need some rooms.
Need a wake-up call at 6 a.m. Got that?
We're going to school, not the monastery.
That's better.
October 8th, 7 a.m. Jasmine's aunt had grown fearful that Cardenas would return. As a precaution, she walked the girls to the school bus stop.
Me esperan en la escuela. Wait, okay. I'm gonna go to pick you up.
Sylvia called 911. She was able to perfectly describe the vehicle and amazingly remembered the license plate number.
Driver, turn the car off.
In less than an hour, the California Highway Patrol pulled the Cutlass over as it headed south on Interstate 5.
Keep your hands out the window. Open the door. Step out. Turn the other way. Anybody else in the car?
Why don't you take a look?
Put your hands on top of your head.
Cardenas had thought of every detail. He used the Cutlass as a decoy, then made his getaway with Jasmine in the second vehicle. Jasmine was 15 years old when she was abducted. She would be 19 now. And she still has not been found. But just a few months ago, there was a break in the case. One of the accused kidnappers, Cardenas' cousin, Arturo Beltran Gonzalez, was arrested at this house in Oxnard, California in November for auto theft. Gonzalez was using a different name and claimed he'd never been arrested before. But L.A. detective Greg Monroe got suspicious when the guy seemed to know the drill a little too well.
During the booking process, we're required to strip search the suspect, and as I did so, I usually ask him to raise his hands and open his mouth, and he did that before I asked, and to me that was unusual.
Detective Monroe quickly went into the police computer and uncovered Gonzalez's true identity. But by then, Gonzalez had bailed out. Gonzalez left lots of evidence behind. He also left behind lots of new clues that could help catch him again.
The most outstanding thing about him being a Hispanic is he has real light eyes, almost green eyes or blue. Another thing is the tattoos on his chest. Very unusual, the names of Alicia and Susie on the right chest and two praying hands on the left chest.
Recapturing Gonzalez could lead to the accused mastermind, Hector Manuel Cardenas. Police believe he still knows where Yasmin is. He goes by the nickname Nelly, and he likes to brag about his power and money. Both men are Mexican nationals, but have lived in Southern California. If you've seen them, call our hotline. And take one more good look at Yasmin Leon. Yasmin is a shy, sweet girl, and she was a good student. Here she is celebrating her 15th birthday while hiding out in Buttonwillow. Please, if you think you've seen her or her alleged abductors, call 1-800-CRIME-TV. Been missing from Everett, Washington since Saturday, April 1st. Call 1-800-CRIME-TV if you've seen her. 2 weeks ago, we brought you the story of Byron Johnson and asked for your help. Well, we got it. Nobody's happier than the young woman who's been hiding from him for months, his own stepdaughter.
Byron Johnson getting caught makes me feel really relieved because he's a sick man. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow. I mean, somebody actually found him.
For 3 years, Fatima Al-Mazuri suffered at the hands of her stepfather, Byron Johnson. She says he started molesting her when she was in the 4th grade. When her mother finally found out, charges were brought against Johnson. He took off, but not before threatening to kill them both.
Just anybody that would remind me of him, I get really scared. It's like you never know where he is, and I had no idea.
Fatima, now 17, had every reason to be scared to death of Byron Johnson. He had a long history of violence. When he was 19, he served 3 years in prison for killing this man, Howard Fleming. Believe it or not, Johnson killed him just for stepping on his shoes.
Byron became upset when this man stepped on his shoes, pulled his gun, and shot this man in the chest. He later died.
Police say when Byron Johnson got out of prison, he met Fatima's mother and started molesting the young girl. Then he took off and headed for South Bend, Indiana, where police say he began dealing crack with a couple of grade school buddies, a man who went by the street name Frog and a friend, Holly Pack. But they say Byron's violent temper erupted in May of 1993, and Holly paid in blood.
Holly smoked up $40 worth of drugs and couldn't pay for it. Holly didn't have any money. Byron wanted his money. Holly couldn't produce it.
Shot him once and he fell, hit the ground, and Byron got over on top of him and was kneed and had one knee in his chest and shot him 4 more times.
Shortly after being questioned by police about Holly's murder, Byron was again on the run. Thanks to your tips, we now know Byron Johnson started a new life here in this Dallas neighborhood, working as a welder at Dresser Industries, keeping his violent temper well hidden.
He came to us and he said about 2 years ago he had turned his life over to Jesus Christ. He just started a whole new beginning.
He even sang in the local church choir and was warmly embraced by the community. But 2 weeks ago, his past caught up with him when we aired his profile.
I mean, it was really scary, because he was so nice when he was there, and all the things that they were saying about him on TV, it didn't seem real, so it was a scary situation.
Seeley Hall quickly called our hotline, and police raced to his house. Now he's in custody, and a lot of people are breathing easier.
I'm glad he's caught and, maybe justice be done. And, keep the man locked up. The man don't need to be out in society. The man is crazy.
They really got him. I was like putting it on myself, they got him. But it's hit me now, I realized they really do got him. It's not a joke, it's true. He's gone, and probably forever.
This past week, Johnson was brought back to South Bend, where he's been charged with the murder of Holly Peck. More to come. Stay with us.